Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, how are you? Hang out, stay a while. If you're a returner, what's up fam? Can you notice there's something weird about me? Can you notice there's something weird? Because today I'm doing something super exciting where I'm taking half of my drugstore makeup products and half of my Sephora and Ulta makeup products and doing a full face. This is fully for aesthetic reasons only. I know that a more expensive product might have better ingredients, but I am not knowledge-based enough to be able to look at the ingredients list and to analyze that. So I have just finished actually doing the full face. Which side do you think is the more expensive side? If you can tell, comment down below right now and then wait to the end and see if you're right. To keep things even more separate, I'm going to be using two different beauty blenders just so that everything is just like really separated, so it's easy for me to tell, you know, side by side. By the way, this is a crazy endeavor for me to have before I go to work in the morning. But anyways, I'm gonna just be able to tell which side I like more. So on my day-to-day endeavors, what I normally start with is with Maybelline's BB cream. I start with the shade 110 Light Medium Sheer Tint, and I always have liked BB cream because I know that it has, I should honestly probably do the more expensive side. We're gonna flop because I have a blemish on that side. And I feel like the more expensive side likely will hold up better. But I just know that BB cream has sunscreen in it, so that's why I've always liked it. And I honestly usually just go in with my hands, almost like it's a moisturizer. And I just cover my skin like that. This is the side of just BB cream, and then this is the side of nothing. Obviously it looks a little bit more jump scary because I have a breakout right now, but you can see that it did even out my complexion and it is just kind of more glowy. So to continue on the more expensive side, we're going to be putting the Hollywood Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter Foundation in the shade 2 Bare Pale. Another thing to mention is that when I was color matched for all these more expensive products, whether it's foundation or concealer, they are more likely going to be closer to my skin than the ones I picked out myself because I trust the Sephora employee, but they did color match me when I wasn't covered in fake tan, so it might be a little different from when I was in the store. But I am gonna use a damp beauty blender to blend this in. See, like, can I tell much of a difference? I don't know. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, this is BB cream. And the Charlotte Tilbury retails I think for $48 and BB cream is not $48. I'll tell you that. Both of these though are super blendable and super forgiving on your skin if you do incorrectly match yourself. And they're very, very light coverage. So don't expect everything to be covered, but expect a more even complexion and a little bit of like a filter over your base. Now I'm gonna go in with concealer. I use the Photo Focus concealer by Wet n Wild in the shade Light Ivory, and this is the drugstore version. It is definitely really affordable, and this is also a shade I picked out myself. I just feel like it matches my skin so well. We're just gonna do this. Whoa, I got way too close to my eyeball. We're just gonna do the standard under eye kind of thing, and then I do have a dark spot right there, so I'm gonna see. I feel like it's such a good match to my skin. I don't know. I feel like I have a really hard time color matching myself, and then I do this weird thing up here to kind of lighten up the forehead. Okay, and I'm gonna blend this out with the beauty blender. It's such a good match. I feel like it doesn't even look like I'm doing anything. My dark circles though are still like, hey, can't cover us up. So maybe the more expensive product will hold better with that. And then I have two concealers for the more expensive side because one is used for coverage, more similar to your skin tone, and one is used to brighten. So the one I'm using for coverage is going to be the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Light 2 Vanilla. Period. Since this one is only going to be used for coverage purposes, I am going to put it for my under eyes and then any blemishes I have, and I'm going to let that oxidize. I'm going to let it dry a little while I apply the brightening brightening one as well, because I found that with most concealers, especially over blemishes, if you let it almost like dry a little, it tackies up and then goes over better. So this blemish needs lots and lots of help with that problem. For the brightening spots on my face, I'm going to be using the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer in the shade Cream, I believe it is. I was having a hard time finding the color, but at the end of the day, just go to Sephora and ask them to color match you. So where I put this brightening concealer is I put it in that forehead spot I normally do, a dot on my nose, some closer to my eye, my chin is a high point of my face, my nose, here, and here. The other concealer is here, here, and here. Confusing, I know, but... So I'm also gonna blend that out with a beauty blender, keeping my beauty blenders grit. And I'm gonna start with the areas where I don't feel I need as much. Look at the difference though between the forehead part. I don't know if you can see it, but for the concealer so far, how I do this brightening part on my forehead, I can definitely already see a huge difference between the color match to my skin versus the drugstore one on this side versus the Vanish concealer. It's subtle, but it's definitely blending better and definitely better for brightening purposes. So I was taught when you have a bad blemish, always do that last. I don't know why, but I listened to the makeup gods. Wow, honestly. Okay, the concealers might be worth it. I mean, you can definitely still see the blemish. I don't know if I should try to build on it and keep piling it up. I definitely don't want to inflame the blemish or make it worse, but maybe I'll put powder on it. I don't know. The next step is going to be contour, and I actually don't have a more expensive version, so we're just going to do the whole face with this drugstore version. It's the Maybelline New York 050 shade Cafe Fit Me, and it's a concealer that I have been using as a cream foundation, and I just put it on my nose, the sides of my face, and then under my chin. I'll come back after I get it on my face. This is like a painting form. I need to get off camera to do this. For research purposes, I will still keep my beauty blenders separated while doing this, just so we can really see and I don't mix any products on accident. Switching the beauty blenders. So now that I have my funny little button nose drawing on here, I'm gonna just blend it out with a beauty blender. And I did my neck off camera because I realized I forgot in the original part. I am new to this, but I did do it. I'm gonna do brows next because I was wondering why I was looking at myself feeling so ugly, and it's because I haven't done my brows yet. Next, I'm gonna do my brows. On the more drugstore side, we're gonna do the NYX Brow Glue in the shade Medium Brown. And I got this actually from another creator and I love it. I feel like it works really well. And this is something I use every day. I can't go without brushing my brows. I just feel like after I brush my brows, I'm a totally different person. I am going to get close and brush my brows and laminate them down to my face. For the more expensive side, we're going to be using the Sachu Brow and Freckles Stay-In pen. And I will say, although that this was purchased from a more expensive beauty store like Sephora or Ulta, it is super affordable. So I use the term more expensive kind of loosely as I'm going through this video. It just means that I got it from an actual beauty store versus like a, you know, department store, Target, gas station, whatever, you know. I've already tried this. I'm not the hugest fan of the brow side because it's very, very muddy, and I will show you what I mean by that. You need to use a very light hand because it just dispenses so much product, and you need to use a Q-tip to clean it up afterwards because it just dispenses so much product. I will say there will be no gaps in your brows when you're using this because it also functions as like filling them in. But I mean, look at the difference. I personally prefer this height just because it's kind of like, whoa, that's doing a whole lot. So I'm gonna delicately kind of place this on this side and come back after that. So I get the premise of like my eyebrow might look fuller and darker, but I honestly am not a fan because also with the amount of cleanup I have to do with a Q-tip, I feel like I'm wiping off my BB cream or my foundation and it's just doing too much. Like it's bam! My eyebrows enter the room way before I do with this. The next thing I'm gonna do is blush. This I don't have in a more expensive version, so I'm gonna be using for both sides the Maybelline Cheek Heat Sheer Gel Cream Blush in the color 20 Rose Flush. And I just put some on my cheeks, on my nose, a little on my forehead, and a little on my chin. And then I blend it out with a beauty blender. Same thing, I'll keep the beauty blender separate, but did you know you have 30 minutes? So this is the drugstore side. And this is the more expensive side. I feel like so far the only thing that looks drastically different are my eyebrows. Oop! I need to get closer to the mirror while I'm doing that. Maybe also the concealer, honestly. This under eye definitely seems way brighter than this one. For the drugstore side, we're gonna be using the NYX Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator in the shade Sunbeam. And I put it in similar places where I put the blush. Yeah, just kind of there. And I honestly use my fingers. And then for the more expensive side, we're going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in the shade Spotlight. I think I am gonna I like this because I'm such a highlight girly. I love highlighter. I still have to blend it and everything, but so pretty. My precious. Put it up the nose too. I forgot to do this side of my lip. Who's gonna tell me? The applicator I'm gonna have to get used to, but I also just do this with my fingers. Nobody's gonna know. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So gorge. Very pretty. Hi. The next thing I'm gonna do is some freckles. I don't actually have a drugstore one. This is the Sachu freckle pen from earlier. I, in the past though, have used, not many, but I've used freckle pens, and this one, this applicator, I feel like I can get something way better. I have to do this off camera too, because I have to get like very close to the mirror to see what I'm doing. Especially with this applicator, it's not like I can just kind of, I have to really focus on different sizes, the placement and stuff like that. So I am gonna do freckles off camera. The next thing I'm gonna do is lips, and I have this NYX lip pencil in the shade Nude Truffle from Ulta, and I'm so sorry, I have to do this off camera. I'm not close enough. But I'm gonna do that for this side, and then I'm gonna combine that with the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline on the more expensive side, and then on the drugstore side, I have this, don't cancel me. I have this lipstick. It's been in the bottom of the barrel. Lasting Finish by Kate lipstick in the shade 08. And I'm gonna do that on the drugstore side, and I'll come back to you. So I feel confident that I can do the lip gloss and the lipstick, but the lip liner was asking for a lot. So this is gloss with the lip liner combination, lip combo, and then this is just gonna be the drugstore side. They definitely feel different. I'll tell you that, they definitely feel different. Lastly, before this setting spray, I'm gonna finish off with liquid liner. This is from the Dallas Style. I don't have a more expensive one, so I'm gonna have to do this for both sides. Drop recommendations for good eyeliners though, because this wears off so easily. I also have to do this off camera, but I'm just gonna do a brown liner and then I'll return to you. I lied, I am gonna powder my face, but I only have drugstore powder again. If you have a really nice like powder, that would be something I'd be willing to invest in as well, because I feel like powder really just conceals everything. I feel like it's more like a filter than the foundation, honestly. So when I do my powder, I just kind of do my forehead area. I don't want to overdo it, like I still want some kind of shine. So I just go really lightly. I do my under eyes. And I got this powder puff from the dollar store. The powder I'm using is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder Foundation in the shade 16H, or no, 110 Porcelain. definitely really pale person. And to set it all off, we're gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, airbrush flawless setting spray, party all night, stay all day. I only have a more expensive version of this. I don't have any primer or setting spray, so I'm probably gonna, you know, use this for a long time, but also as a drugstore makeup girly, I don't know if I quite get the point of setting spray, but we're working on it. So I'm just gonna spritz. And that will complete the look. Thank you so much for watching this video and continuing to support my channel. If you liked it, definitely give it a like, a comment, and subscribe so you can catch the next one. Comment down below which side you thought was better, what products you think are worth it. If you have any recommendations for primer, I really need a primer. Anywhoosie, thank you so much. I love you all so much, and until next time, bye.